Hey guys, Ernie with 223 Knights for the video. Sorry I haven't been making videos lately, obviously. Won't make any excuses though. Um, Today I'm going to be bringing you another segment of psychology and Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is going to be the long-awaited part one of the bluffing tactics, when to use it, when to not use it, how to bluff correctly, how not to bluff, um, and just basically learning about your play style and your tells. For those of you that don't know what tells are gestures, which I believe we talked about in the first video, and I might have talked about tells there too. But tells are gestures that your opponent can use to figure out what you're doing and what you're thinking. And you need to get rid of those if you want to be a successful Yu-Gi-Oh player. You can't be like, eyes wide open when you draw that mirror force or something, because they're going to know every time you do that you got a good card. So I want to start out this bluffing conversation by saying the number one important thing to remember about bluffing is to not do it all the time. Um, the really, like, it's hugely important that you don't bluff all the time. What happens is you'll get in a rut where you want to bluff all the time, if it works like once or twice, and then eventually it's never going to work again, because you're going to develop a pattern for bluffing and people are going to call your bluff all the time. Now you can use this to your advantage. If you end up like that, then you can start not bluffing and acting like it's a bluff, and then they'll walk right into your traps. However, that's not usually what a good player is going to do, or a great pro player, whatever you want to call them. That's not what they're usually going to walk into. Those aren't the types of plays that they will just roll over and fall into the pit of your trap. Another thing to remember about bluffing is the more you play someone, the harder it is to bluff them. Me and my friend Pat play together every week, and we can't bluff each other. It's not possible. We know pretty much card for card what like each other is gonna play during their turn, and that's just not that's just because we play each other a lot. We know each other's play styles, and we know things that other people might not know. Bluffing is something that you use in big tournaments because usually you don't know the people that are in there, and you haven't played them a lot. So I'm going to cut right into what is a bluff and what isn't a bluff. What could be more as a bait. So this would be like setting a mind control. Normally, not the best idea. However, if you find yourself needing to do something like of that sort, you set this card and you don't say anything. You want to you act like you normally do whenever you set a card. Just don't do anything different. Just set it, and then if they have a bunch of monsters in the field and you draw a card and then you set it, they're probably going to think it's Mirror Force. That's just instinct on players. Don't attack when they have a face down if you have a bunch of monsters in attack mode, because if they flip the Mirror Force, you're going to go minus, and minusing yourself is how you lose. How not to bluff. Don't be nervous when you set a card. You just want to take the card, put it down like normal. That's all you got to do. If I have a hand, you just like, well, whole deck, but just bam, just like normal. You just put it down, put it down. Another example. Let's say I'm playing zombies, so I run Burial in my deck. I'm setting this card. This is a bait. This is not a bluff. Most of the time, this is a bait. We want the opponent to use their MST or their Nobleman of Extermination or whatever the heck they're going to use to stop this card from happening. We want it to use it on this because we can chain it to that and get its effect. That's really important to think about. If I draw this early game, then it's a bluff. If I draw it early game, it's a bluff. Here's basically what you do. You set it. It's more of a bait still, but you can use it as a bluff. If you have let's say I drew like a Raikou and then this. If I set the Raikou and then I set this card, They probably don't think it's a Raikou. They're going to attack right into my Raikou. And they might use their MST or whatever and get rid of this worthless card, and then I can go ahead and set, my Solemn Judgments or my Royal Decrees, my Mirror Force, my Book of Moons. Another important thing, let's say I have a face-up Raikou, so I have Raikou right here. He's in attack mode. If I set a card, no matter what it is, this is just from my experience, I always think it's a Book of Moon. And I know what's going to happen. I'm going to attack, they're going to Book of Moon the Raikou, kill my monster, and mill more. So if I was to set the Burial like this, they'd be pretty hesitant about attacking with any kind of monster. Well, at least I would. Just because, it could be a Book of Moon, and if you do, you're going to minus yourself. He's going to get to mill more. If you let milling go uncontrolled in most decks, you're going to have a problem. So what you want to do is when you're bluffing, you want to make the bluff like believable, but not like wildly obvious or completely unbelievable. Like this is a classic one, and I'm just going to do it like this. I'm just going to grab 6 cards from my deck, and I'm going to do this. I'm just going to hold them up right here. Just look through my cards, shuffle them around, and just say, go. Your turn. What's in my hand, guys? It's a Gores. Never do this. Never. If you, on your first turn, do not do this. Do not act like, what you have to do is, if you want to, the way to bluff Gores is to bluff that you have Gores. You don't want to bluff when you have the Gores. Let's say I don't have the Gores. Let's say instead I have a Goblin Zombie. But I don't want to play anything. I want them to I want them to think I have Gores. So what they'll do is they'll set a card, and then I have a Mind Control in my hand and a Plague Spreader. I can take their monster and synchro with it on my turn. That's the important thing to learn about bluffing with Gores. You don't bluff when you have Gores. You bluff when you don't have Gores. You want to give them, you want to act like you don't have it if you have it, and you want to act like you have it when you don't have it. If that makes any sense to you guys. That's the important thing about Gores. When I have Gores out, I still put cards face down. I'll still set my Solemn Judgment. I'll set my Mind Control as a bluff. I don't care. You want to make them think that you don't have the Gores, so that way when you drop it, it's unexpected and they're not prepared for it. Because if you just start your turn, draw your 6, and say go, they're gonna know you have Gores. It's really obvious. What you have to do is you have to look at your own play style. You have to take notes. You have to talk to people you fight and be like, when I did this, did you know it was coming? I had Gores in my hand during this time. Did you think I had Gores? Stuff like that. You need to be willing to talk to people. The only way you're going to learn how to be better is to play this game and improve how you play the game. The only way to do that is to play. But if you are, let's say, me and my friend Pat, we know each other inside and out. So if I do something, he's going to point it out and be like, you shouldn't have done that. I saw that coming a mile away. And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. I won't do that again. So, it's just important that you look at your own play style and you evolve as a duelist. And the best way to do that is to talk to people, get advice, just talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Discuss things, discuss your tech cards, discuss cards in the deck that you have, discuss archetypes, what's tier 1, what's tier 1.5. Don't get into fights. Have normal discussions, have civilized just discussions about it. That's all, that's really important. I don't think people understand how important that can be. So just to recap real fast, bluffing is something you don't do all the time. You do it when you think, you do it when you need to stall for something, and you can't do it all the time. That's just the #1 rule about bluffing. There will be a part 2 to this video, but I gotta cut this one for now. I'll probably make the next one tomorrow or Monday. And for now, just peace out, guys. See you later.